Take two. Take two. How do I start? If you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind. Welcome to BOOZHOO, NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about OJIBWE language and culture. Okay, hey, BOOZHOO, welcome back to BOOZHOO, NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about OJIBWE language and culture. Today's OJIBWE word of the day, Aki, earth. Aki, earth. And today's German word of the day, Erdäpfel. Earth apple, Erdäpfel. In German, the name of the oldest globe in the world is called Erdäpfel, the earth apple. And a man named Martin Martin Baham made the first globe in 1492, and he called it Erdäpfel, an earth apple. 1492. And who can tell me what else we're taught about that year, 1492? Yes, you, Joey, in the back. Oh, they say that's when the Columbus sailed the ocean blue. That's right. Thank you. I'm pretending I'm in a class. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue in search of a what do they call it? A passageway, a waterway, whatever, to the west, to Northwest Passage to Asia, where he would be in search of gold and spices. I was with the spices in these old stories. And like hey, look, I found some salt and pepper. But the reason I bring this up, Aki and 1492, is that we're coming up on the Columbus Day. And then Indigenous Peoples Day. And I'm going to be giving, I'm going to be doing a Facebook live stream with some people on Indigenous Peoples Day. I'll let you guys know. You should tune in. But they're going to ask me, what do I think? Should we rename the Columbus story to Indigenous Peoples Day? And I'm like, well, yeah, do what you want. Because the Columbus story is so stupid that, I really don't care. It's like, should we replace this one ridiculous story of lies and then use that day to honor the indigenous people of North America? Because my first reaction is, well, if you got the Columbus story so wrong, I really don't care what you people want to do with your holidays and your so-called history. Because, we all know the story of Columbus and then the new story. So the old story was in 1492, back in the days of the grandfathers. Columbus was an Italian, as they call him in Bina. He was an Italian. And he believed the earth was round, and he wanted to prove it. And so he went to the king and queen of Italy, and he got, some junia, got some money, and he built 3 ships, the Pinta, the Nina, and the Ocasio-Cortez. And then he sailed west in search of a passageway to Asia. But he was wrong in how big he thought the earth was. And he landed into this new land that nobody had ever seen before, except the people who lived there. And now here's also, so all that's nonsense. But the story kind of implies that he comes to North America with these 3 big ships. And then look, we're the first white people to ever come to this place. I will call it America, and it will be the land of the free. And but he ends up in Haiti. Haitians. These aren't Native Americans, you guys. But anyway, so he meets a bunch of Haitians. And now the story, they're saying, the same people who have come up with the nonsense, what do they call it? Dudu Muan story of whatever. But they say in his journals, this is where they get the idea that he was going to prove the earth was round. In the journals, he assumed the earth was, only 1/3 hadn't been explored yet. By 1492, mind you. That he goes over there and he sees these native Haitians, and they're not wearing any clothes. And he goes, they're good-looking people. They're very kind and generous, but they don't know anything about even tools. We showed them our swords, and they grabbed it by the sharp end and were amazed that they had cut their hands. Didn't even know about swords or apparently sharp things. Haitians. So, okay. I doubt that's true. I think Haitian people are not stupid, but whatever. That's part of the story. And then, so now, when I was a kid, he was a great hero. He discovered America. Why do you say that? You don't even pretend in the history books to lie about that part. He never discovered North America. He discovered Haiti. And I didn't even know where that was. That's like an island south of Florida. It's kind of closer to South America, I think. But, so then what? Okay, so now, they're kind of playing, not self-defense, but they're playing defense. So eventually they had to own up to the story that, okay, no, he didn't discover America. Number one, it's racist to not include Native Americans as people. When we talk about no person ever knew that this was here. But, so they want to change that narrative to also, but now we can believe, but he was a rapist and a slave trader and a gold gatherer. He gathered gold and he would cut off the hands of the natives. So powerful were Columbus and his sailors that they just easily dominated the Haitian people. So whatever. 4 times he went back and forth. 1 time he gets arrested for some reason. There was like a mutiny. I don't know. Is the story, which I don't believe because I don't believe any of the story. And what else? But this whole flat earth thing. So it comes back to that. So 1492 was the first time anybody in the whole world made a globe. Now they always want to say, but everyone knew the earth was a globe for 2,000 years before then. Whoever. So that part of the Columbus story, they're really trying to distance themselves. But even in the 1970s, do you guys remember that Bugs Bunny cartoon about Columbus? He's all like, They showed Columbus, just stereotypical Italian. He's a round like a ball. And then the king would be like, no, he's a flat like a pancake. So it was like the main purpose of the Columbus story when I was a kid was that he was great, not because he discovered America. They told us that was silly even back then, but that he proved that the earth was round. And we all accepted that. But then, I don't know how deep I want to go into this, but you realize, okay, you can't really prove that the earth is a globe, is a ball spinning until you can invent a rocket that would leave the ball and then look back and take a picture and come back and say, hey, here you go. I mean, yeah, well, we always knew, but you didn't know anything. You couldn't prove it until NASA. That's why the moon missions were so important, because they were going to prove the shape of the earth. That's always kind of part of these historical stories. And so the first time they took a picture by their own story, that NASA took a picture of the earth, it's that the big, not the little half earth from the moon pictures, but the picture you see on all the textbooks. They say they took that picture for the first time on their last mission back from the moon on Apollo 11. Was it 11? I don't know. Nobody thought to take a picture of the moon during the flight before that. So, and it is just a Photoshop. It's not a real photo. You can look, it says, you know, it's a NASA image. But I don't know. I don't need to prove any of that. So here's my final point on this. I don't care about Columbus Day. Because the whole story is so stupid. It's like arguing the details of Santa Claus. I also don't think Indigenous Peoples Day matters. Who cares? You know, you have a one day to like recognize all Indigenous people, and then you can just go back to the 364 days of ignoring them again. I don't know. So, I don't know what I'm going to say on that show. Oh yeah, it's time, rise up. No more Columbus, much more Indigenous. Aquí, Earth. And the Columbus story is Dudu Muan. Bull. Alright, thank you for watching BOOZHOO, NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am NANABOOZHOO, and I will see you again. GOFUNDME, Minowa, Awa. Columbus.